General Hospital spoilers tease that the marriage between Chase and Brooke Lynn is on the verge of implosion, with secrets from Brooke Lynn's past threatening to destroy their fragile union. Brooke Lynn and Chase's struggles with infertility lead them to seek medical advice, but what begins as a hopeful attempt to build their future spirals into a revelation of hidden truths and buried pain. As their journey unfolds, layers of betrayal and heartache come to light, leaving their relationship hanging by a thread. It all begins with a routine visit to a specialist to explore options for starting a family. Brooke Lynn's inability to conceive raises questions, prompting the couple to consult a top obstetrician. During the examination, Chase is blindsided by a shocking discovery, evidence that Brooke Lynn had been pregnant and given birth in the past. This revelation hits Chase like a freight train as he realizes that his wife, whom he believed had no more secrets, has been keeping yet another part of her life hidden from him. Chase's reaction is visceral. The man who has forgiven Brooke Lynn time and time again for her history of lies and manipulations finds his patience wearing thin. He is stunned, hurt, and furious, unable to reconcile the woman he thought he knew with the reality that she had concealed such a monumental part of her past. Brooke Lynn, cornered and guilt-ridden, finally admits to having been pregnant as a teenager. She confesses that the experience was traumatic, a chapter of her life she desperately wanted to forget. But Chase is not satisfied with vague explanations. His mind races with questions: who was the father, and what happened to the child? Brooke Lynn's reluctance to answer only fuels his frustration. The trust they worked so hard to rebuild begins to crumble under the weight of her silence. Finally, Brooke Lynn reveals the shocking truth: Dante, Chase's colleague and friend, was the father of her child. She explains that the pregnancy was the result of a terrible night when Dante, under the influence of a drugged drink, lost control. Though the incident was not consensual, Brooke Lynn insists she never held Dante responsible, understanding that he had been a victim of circumstance as much as she had. Chase struggles to process the revelation. Not only has Brooke Lynn been hiding her pregnancy, but the involvement of someone so close to him makes the betrayal feel even deeper. Brooke Lynn further admits that she believed the child had died shortly after birth. She recalls being rushed to a private clinic where a doctor performed an emergency C-section. Brooke Lynn was told that her baby had not survived, a piece of information that haunted her for years, but which she had forced herself to accept as truth. However, the obstetrician they consulted provides a critical piece of information that shakes Brooke Lynn's understanding of the past. During the examination, the doctor notices faint surgical scars on Brooke Lynn's abdomen, evidence of the C-section she had long tried to forget. The doctor expresses uncertainty about the fate of the child, explaining that the clinic's records were incomplete and that the surgeon who performed the procedure has since retired. This revelation sparks a seed of doubt in Brooke Lynn's mind. What if her baby didn't die? What if the truth was something far more complicated? Determined to uncover the full story, Brooke Lynn decides to investigate the clinic where she gave birth. She tracks down the retired doctor, seeking answers about what really happened that fateful day. The doctor's memory is hazy, but he recalls that the clinic had connections to a private adoption network. This information sends Brooke Lynn on a desperate quest to find out if her child was taken from her without her consent and placed into the care of another family. Brooke Lynn's search leads her back to her mother, Lois, whom she believes may hold key information about the events surrounding her pregnancy and the fate of her child. Lois initially denies knowing anything, but Brooke Lynn's persistence forces her to admit that she had been involved in arranging for the baby to be adopted. Lois claims she did it to protect Brooke Lynn, who was too young and overwhelmed to raise a child at the time. However, Brooke Lynn is furious, feeling betrayed by her mother's actions and her continued deception. As Brooke Lynn digs deeper, she uncovers a trail of evidence suggesting that her son is alive but has been living under a different identity. Each new piece of information brings her closer to the truth, yet also raises more questions. Who is her son now? Where is he? And why was the truth kept from her for so long? The emotional toll of this journey begins to wear on Brooke Lynn, who feels torn between her desire to find her child and her fear of what she might discover. Meanwhile, Chase grapples with his own feelings of betrayal and anger. While he sympathizes with Brooke Lynn's trauma, he struggles to move past the fact that she kept such a significant secret from him. Their marriage becomes increasingly strained as they clash over her choices and the impact of her past on their present. Chase also finds himself wrestling with his feelings toward Dante, who is blindsided by the revelation of his connection to Brooke Lynn's pregnancy. Dante, too, is forced to confront the consequences of that long-ago night, questioning how it will affect his relationships with both Chase and Brooke Lynn. As tensions rise, the drama spills over into their wider circle of friends and family. Sonny Corinthos, Dante's father, becomes involved, offering support to both his son and Brooke Lynn as they navigate the fallout. The Quartermaine family, never one to shy away from conflict, finds itself divided over how to handle the situation. While some rally around Brooke Lynn, others question her judgment and whether she should have been more honest from the beginning. The storyline reaches a boiling point as Brooke Lynn receives a lead on the whereabouts of her child. With Chase reluctantly by her side, she travels to confront the family who adopted her son, hoping to piece together the final part of the puzzle. The confrontation is emotionally charged, with Brooke Lynn pouring out her heart in an attempt to connect with the child she never knew. Whether this reunion brings closure or opens up new wounds remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Brooke Lynn's journey will have lasting repercussions for everyone involved. This explosive storyline delves into themes of trust, betrayal, and redemption, pushing each character to their emotional limits. For Brooke Lynn and Chase, the road ahead is uncertain. Their love has been tested in ways neither could have imagined, and the question of whether they can rebuild their marriage remains unanswered. As the truth about Brooke Lynn's past continues to unfold, viewers are left on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the next twist in this heart-wrenching saga.